Hey Dreamers, it's Jacked Up Plays with a new video of Project Fantieval. And as you already know and have probably maybe watched the previous videos, you know that this project is all about a new project that I'm going to work on in Dreams, made in Dreams by a lot of community assets and also a little bit of my own assets here and there if I think that I need to put it into that makes it more fit into the place, but mostly it's focused on like community assets because I kind of want to like show in this project that you can build a beautiful location or a creation completely made out of single community assets. Now it is always a little bit of a challenging because like you're probably always like yeah, you're always battling between like gameplay and graphics thermo, but if you're doing it in the right way you can make very lovely stuff. And I don't want to make it a too long intro, but I kind of want to like say that this is what this project is about. So it's all about to show you that you don't really need to sculpt yourself much to make something very beautiful, and that's kind of what I want to do in this project. And also of course like eventually release it so you can like yeah, and enjoy it yourself. I will make it a showcase, so it's going to be with like camera working, so like you can use this for backgrounding. But I'm also going to hopefully I'm also going to have like a walking feature into this. So in the previous video I explained that I would still tweak a little bit about the sky. You can already tell a little bit, hopefully you can already see a little bit like a different sky color happening in the distance. I made it a little bit more bluish, not too much. I don't want to go too crazy, but I kind of want to have like that sticked out a little bit better between the clouds and the world itself. So yeah, let's go straight into it. I really want to show you what I have been doing so far again. So it's a little bit of an update video behind the scenes of what I've been working on, because I think that it's really nice way to show you this project. So what have I done? If we're panning to the left, you already knew in the previous video, I had some like signpost where like directing different ways of the land. I'm going to be honest in here. I used a generator with different names, and I picked the ones that I thought like make more sense in this world. So for example, in the right way, we have Port Windstorm. That's one of like the location downstairs. That's called Windstorm, and that's like it's a port over there, so that's why it's called Port Windstorm. Thought it was a cool name to it. And we have like Argyle Highlands. That's like the Grassfields and mountains in the background. And on the other side, go to the left, we have Baldroon City. That's basically the city itself in the distance. I'm not going to build that. I don't have the graphics thermo left for that, but I'm going to make a pathway that looks like you're going to that city eventually. And maybe in the future I can like expand this project with multiple scenes, like multiple dream scenes into this whole project. And maybe we're going to see eventually the Baldroon City. That will be pretty cool. As you already can tell, I painted the post. Now I still want to tweak it a little bit better because like it's a lot of like detail has been gone. Because like I had to downscale a little bit of the graphics thermo, but I kind of want to put a little bit more detail in the post itself, so like it sticks a little bit more out as it's made out of wood. But I already painted it, so I already want to show this, and hopefully in the next video you're going to see a little bit more better things like. And the sign is like on both sides, so here you also have like the signs of the Baldroon City and the Argyle Highlands pointing in that direction. Over there is of course the port itself with the water. You already saw that. And if we're panning to the left to the Argyle Highlands, you can already tell that I have been expanding a lot of like the lands itself, so you can a little bit more see how it eventually is going to look like. And I placed also something else. Hopefully you will see it pretty soon. Oh, there we go. There it is. I made an airship. Well, I didn't make an airship. It's from the community assets. I had to downscale a lot of like thermo on that one. It's like it was pretty high. I made it 1%, so it's a 1% thermo airship floating in the air. So yeah, so it also pays it pays off. If you're looking up in the sky, you will probably going to see a lot more stuff happening in the sky itself, besides the islands and the spiky things. As you can already maybe already tell, I also like upgraded the spikes a little bit, so it's a little bit better quality, a little bit higher quality, like more sharper version of those spikes. So that's like a difference that I made. And the Grassfields, as you can see, so this is basically like the highlands, and it goes all the way to the back. Further on, I will do that in the next video. We'll show you how that will look eventually. So I expanded that field and placed in tree and some rocks. So, and then I'll look a pathway that like it's going down. Basically, that's where maybe where people coming from there on the backside of the restaurant or the bar, basically. But I also, I'm sorry. Oh wow. I also wanna. Sorry about that. Wow, I don't know what's going on here. Sorry about that. What I also want to do in this video is show you a little bit of like how important painting is over in sculpture. And what I did, and I will show that. So if I walk over here, and so if you're going this direction, like so, I kind of want to show you a little bit of like how important it is to paint. Painting makes a sculpture more alive, and so that like it fits a little bit better into your environment. I have here like two statues of like it's an, I don't know, a gargoyle or something like that, and I ripped this off from a creation that was like the original creation was with a gateway. I don't needed the gate of this because like it didn't really look so well and didn't really fit the quality much, but. So I ripped these statues out, and I kind of want to show you a little bit about how important it is to paint over an already existing sculpture. So, for example, if you're not really good at painting, or sorry, if you're not good at sculpting something, but you find a really nice asset from the community, and you're like, yeah, it doesn't really fit well in my environment, then I kind of want to also show you how important it is to actually paint over an already existing asset so it fits your own environment a little bit better, so it feels like it's all connected to the same place. So what I did is here, like I showed here two statues. On the right side, it's the one that I ripped off from one of the community creations, and on the left side, I repainted it over to make it a little bit more fit into the whole environment, so like it's worn out. I'm probably going to make a little bit more, tweak this a little bit more with like, yeah, I don't know, like with some stuff on it. But I kind of want to show you this a little bit. So what I did is, now let me go into the creation mode. So what I did was, I painted on this sculpture. If you're going too close, you can see that like it's very low detail, right? But what I did was I made it like I painted a little bit black over it, so that it's like a darker spots here and there. So you already get like a really feeling of like a nice worn out creation. And I also did with, I'm not going to show you completely because I already have made videos on my YouTube channel how you're doing this. But basically I used a donut, and then I'm using a little bit of like a white grayish color. Not completely white, but a little bit like a tone further. So a little bit more white gray. And then like I am like spinning this around, and then I'm painting over that sculpture. And why I'm doing this is because like then it looks like it's made out of stone. And like if you look at the original version, they didn't really do this. It's like it's really bland. It's like two tones, like white and gray, basically, and that's it. So it doesn't really stick out as in like it's made out of stone, right? You can, I mean, the base is made out of stone, but the texture is not there. So I really want to like show you this a little bit better of like how to do this. And they did it with somehow with the statue. I don't know why they didn't do. Maybe it was like two separate sculpts that they used from someone else, and they were like, "Hey, this is a nice statue. I'm going to place it on this socket." But you can already tell, but probably just like made by different people on the Dreamiverse, because you can already tell the difference, right? You can always tell the difference between the statue and the socket where you were standing on, and that's basically what I want to do. That when I'm like not sculpting something myself, well, normally if I make this myself, I would sculpt it myself. If you're curious about how I do like painting techniques and making stone look feel, make sure to watch my sculpting videos. It's there on my YouTube channel. So just watch those videos, and I will show you there how I made that look and feel. I can maybe, yeah, I'm not going to maybe make tutorials anymore. It's basically pointless at this moment, but just watch my videos back if you're curious about how I did stone structure. But yeah, so I kind of want to show you a little bit of like that. So why is it so important to paint over a certain sculpture that you really would love to use, but it doesn't really fit itself in the environment? Very important things. And another good example is like these gates, or actually these fences that I sculpted for another creation a while back during Halloween. And I already like painted a lot over it, but I adjusted it also in this creation a little bit better so that it would fit a lot better into the stones and the gradients, like between like the pathway and the fence itself. So I also did the same technique how I did with these statues as well. So yeah, so that's basically what I have been doing in so far. I also made the island in the back a little bit floating up and down. It's barely seeable. Maybe I will do it a little bit more so you can see that like it's going up and down. It is going up and down, but it's barely noticeable. You also maybe can tell there's like a little tiny house on the top of that island. So you can already tell some people may be living there or not, or maybe it's an abandoned house, who knows. But use your imagination. Maybe there's someone, and there's a big tree happening there as well. And there is also somewhere, I think he is already gone. Yeah, he's already gone. So hopefully he will come back eventually. It is going back. It's like it's looping eventually. So he will come back. But there's also like an airship, like eventually floating around the environment a little bit. And because like I also want to like make that like the world feels more alive, so that actually is something happening in the world, even though it's like it's based off like, yeah, wasteland, and there's like a little town here and we inside the mountains. Pretty cool, I would say. So I really hope that the airship will come soon, otherwise I have to rewind, and then we have a little bit faster that we're going to see the airship. So if I walk over here, there's not really much change on this direction. I still here want to like make a pathway downstairs, and we're going to talk about that. Already said enough about that in previous videos. But if we are going to wait a little bit, we will eventually see an airship coming behind the mountains. I had to place a few mountains in the front so that the airship eventually is like appearing behind the mountains, and it will like hovering over the whole place here. So you can, if you're like exploring this creation yourself, you can also see stuff happening in the sky. And hopefully I can also do birds. I know there's a really good birds version in Dreams, but I know it's a really heavy one, so maybe I can find another one that's maybe better. But I also want to make like birds like flying around sometimes, if it's possible, if it's there in the Dreamiverse. But yeah, you can already maybe tell, like you see maybe already in the distance between the tree and the first big mountain on the right where Sharky is. So between the tree and the Sharky, you can see it's like a little dot. It's like it's moving slowly. And that's the airship. Like I said, the airship was made by one of the community members. And it was a very high detailed quality airship. Now, it is basically like hovering in the sky, so you cannot reach it like in close view. So the quality doesn't really matter because you're not going to see it anyway. So I could like downscale it. It was like, I think it was like in 10%, the original, and I downscaled everything to 1%. So this is like a 1% sculpture now. And so yeah, it's like it's floating in the air. So eventually like it's going to hover over the bridge somewhere. If you're like standing on the bridge, you can see it like from underneath. As you can see, like it's an airship, so it goes very slow. But I really want to make something like this. I really wanted to have implemented in this world, because then it will be feel that there are actually people living here, and that traveling around the world is by airships. Because walking on land with like far wasteland stuff can take days, weeks, months, or even years to travel, right? That's the idea. So the fastest way to travel in this world, which I didn't have a proper name yet, I have a few names already written down that I'm maybe going to use. If you're having yourself a name of this world, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Like, type in the comments like, hey Jack, I have a cool name for this world. I mean the whole world, so like Earth, but then in a different name. So if you have like a cool name for this, let me know in the comments, and maybe I will use it or not. But I already have like written down a few names myself, so if no one comes up in the comments what type of name I should go for, I'll have some ready myself. We're almost seeing that the airship is getting closer, so it goes over the bridge, sort of. So yeah, that's like, it's a little bit like an airship. It's not like the uncommon airship you're seeing in Final Fantasy with those big wings and stuff like that, with propellers. And it's more of like a hover, like a Zeppelin type of thing. Like it's a big balloon, and underneath there's an airship, or like a ship itself. So that's why I don't want like there was not really a good version of like an actual like sort of like a Final Fantasy type of airship, which I really love always. But so yeah, so you're getting also sometimes, if you look up in the sky, you can see something happening there as well, just to make it more alive, just make it feel that like it's a really breathing world. And I want to make more airships going in different directions, so not like you have to wait for one airship, but I really made to make another route to another location on a different time. And so there's like multiple things happening in the world. I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, if you're already like looking up in the sky, you can see that like the sky gradient has also been upped a little bit, like more updated. Like I said in the previous video that I was going to do it. In the previous video, the sky was really white, and so everything was not like really like sticking out much. So the islands that were like hovering, and like also the mountains in the foreground, it was not really like having a good contrast between those two things, right, with the foreground and the background. So I upped a little bit of like the blue sky, not too much, but just enough so that it feels like it's fantasy, like it feels like it's like colorful fantasy world. That's why I updated this as well, so it feels a little bit more like a nice contrast. And of course, like the longer you look in the distance, the wider it gets, just like how it is in like real life happening. But it's of course a fantasy world, and this airship is eventually going, so if you're like going over here, the airship eventually is going to fade away in the distance behind the rocks again, and then it will loop over it again. So once it's been like behind the rocks, there will be another airship. It's basically the same one, but then it will do and routine its route. So basically this is a certain route of this airship that he always go for to let people travel around the world. And like I said, it's a lot faster than just walking around. Well, in this world though. I think I maybe, if I walk or if I run, I can maybe outrun the airship, but don't tell anybody. But yeah, that's like basically like the fast way to travel. And that's basically it for this update. I've been really working on this, working a lot on this hill here. So it's like, it's a little bit more like a nice contrast between green and the blue sky and the islands floating, or basically the spikes are holding, like dragging down the island, more pulling down. If you're going to ask me the lore, how are these spikes happening? Basically, many thousands of years ago, there was a meteorite from outer space, and it was carrying out crystals, and that smashed into Earth, and that basically like when it was smashed into the earth, or well, this place, and so the spikes was like going in flames, but it was so cold that the flames, or like the lava, basically frozen up, and that is like how these spikes are appearing. So there's actually lore behind these spikes, how these things are happening. And back in the days, like many thousands of years ago, everything was like filled up with like a lot of like different places with different locations, and because of the meteorite causes this big disaster on this place, the world basically split up in little pieces, and those pieces are the islands now created. So these islands once were part of this whole world, but they are like now floating in the air, and that's why there's also waterfalls happening, because like it's I don't know, it's still magic, of course. Like it's still fantasy, like there's not like something you would see happening in the real world, but that's a little bit of like the lore behind everything. I also play something else in the distance, and that is like a tiny little ship itself. It's a pirate ship, but you cannot really see it. I'm not really I'm not really sure if I'm actually going to use this, because you cannot go there as a player. You cannot really go there like really like closer to that ship. So I'm still thinking, what, should I do this or not? Because like it cost also 1 graphics. I had to downscale the graphics as well. So there's also 1% graphics thermo added. So I'm not really sure if I'm going for this, but maybe I will, it's static right now, but maybe I will make that ship also move in a circle. So it goes a little bit in the circle direction. Or maybe I can make it so that like it goes behind the mountain in the distance, then make a circle back, and then make a circle around the port, and then it goes back again. Something like that, just so like it feels a little bit more alive on the waters as well. Not sure if I'm going to do this in the final version. Like I said, I need all the graphics thermo, every percent that I have left I need, because like I'm getting close to the 100% right now. So yeah, so that's basically for this video. I really hope that you will like it so far. I really hope you have a little bit of a better idea how this world is going to look, and yeah, like what I am about to build further on. And I said in the previous videos that this pathway is probably going to block by some boxes or like stuff standing here, so you cannot go further, but at least you can see further. So at least you can see what's happening in the distance still. But I don't want to have to play it wandering too far off, because the more ground that that you can explore, the better quality I still have to provide. And yeah, I don't have the room for that anymore. Like I said also in this video, I'm probably going to like chop it in pieces. So if I want to make this a very big, large project in general, that I want to have like the actual city happening and also the actually wasteland. So maybe we're going eventually there on the islands itself, traveling on the floating islands, I don't know, like the island, the sea of islands or something like that. And so you can actually go there eventually. Maybe I will do it if people want to see that. If people want to actually explore different parts of this whole world, I would love to make that, because like I'm really loving to make environmental locations like this. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it so far. I cannot wait to show you more of the process of what I've been doing in this creation, in this project Fantieval. If you know a name, let me know. And if there's no any name suggestions, then I will pick one myself. I'm not really good at names, so I'm probably going to use a generator. And then I'm going to combine different words and think, okay, this sounds cool. So yeah, hopefully I will see you in the next video. And as always, don't forget to dream, everybody. And hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.